to join the GD&T training or session, and I'm happy with that. Basically, GD&T is a very vast subject, as it is not a short term. You have to continuous learning throughout your life. It's not something like that you can learn in 1 week, 2 week, 1 month, or like that. It's a continuous process. Now, if you are right, my personal suggestion right now for the design engineer is right now, if you are pursuing the career in the design field, first you go into the manufacturing related company rather than going service industry. Because what happen when you are pursuing the career in the design engineering right now, it is not only important that you have to just doing the CAD work. So apart from that, how the things are going to be manufactured, how the things are going to be produced, and how the things are going to be checked, that should be knowledge. That kind of knowledge should be have the design engineer right now. Now the company is looking for the candidate only, not like that before 10 years like that you have to just CAD software knowledge or all these things. But right now they are looking for the candidate who have the good knowledge of GD&T. Then he should be able to go to the vendors, suppliers, not only sitting in the CAD station on the computers. At the same time, he should be meet to the vendor. He should be analyze. At least you should be have one FES software knowledge. At least you can operate it. At least you should be understand the CA report when you are working in any company. It doesn't matter you have to just throughout the work on that FES software complete, but at least one and FES software you should be know, because it is very important right nowadays for a design engineer. It's not only you should be have the knowledge of only 3D software. So apart from that, one analysis software you should be possess the knowledge of that. Okay. So right now our the agenda is the GD&T, geometrical dimensions and the tolerancing. Basically, the the main question right now in the industry is why the GD&T is to be used, how it come into the picture, and what is all these things. So let us start from this my first slide. Okay, so why geometrical dimensions and the tolerances? Now, if you consider this is the one model I have created, that is assembly. There are the two shafts over here, and there are two parts, parts one and part two. Okay, so if you are trying to fix these two shafts into the part only by giving the dimensions and limits and fits, I think you are all aware about the fact what is the limits, fits, tolerances, all these things, and you are trying to just do the assembly with the help of that, it is not going to fit it in this properly. And if it is going to be still get fitted by your dimensioning all this thing, but the assembly will not work properly. Now the here you ask why. You said that I have given all the dimensions, I have given the fit tolerances, still it is not going to fit it into that parts. Here the GD&T picture comes in the picture, geometrical dimensions and the tolerances. Now you have to give the straightness of this shaft, then you have to give the straightness of this shaft, then you have to consider the parallelism of these two axes of the holes, like that. Then and only then these two parts are going to be fitted in this hole. In this you have to consider the location, in this you have to consider the orientation of the shaft, then you have to consider the symmetry of these axis about this shaft. All these things are coming to the picture. So main purpose of the GD&T is you have to fix the part in the assembly properly, and you have to work the assembly properly. The second thing is that you have to reduce the rejection. See, if you are not giving the GD&T properly and you manufacture the part in, the quality is going to be get rejected. So what I have told you that if the person is from the quality engineer, he should be have the knowledge of the geometrical dimensions and the tolerances. Basically what happen, design engineer give the GD&T in the drawing. It's very easy by giving the commands. But the main question is how you can achieve and how you can measure. These are the two main aspects of the GD&T right now. By GD&T, giving the GD&T to the part and the assembly, it is the designer's job. For that, he should be have the manufacturing knowledge properly. If you don't have the manufacturing knowledge properly, and if you give the GD&T, it will be of no use, because giving the tighter tolerances in the GD&T will increase the cost of the total assembly cost of the manufacturing. When give when you give any tighter tolerances, meaning micro, if you consider one part over there, and you need the tolerance of zero point 0.5 over there, and you give the 50 micron like 0.05 over there, it will be create the unnecessary cost of that part, and it will be hamper in the total production. So for giving the GD&T, you should have the manufacturing knowledge properly. And second thing, the designer should have the knowledge how the GD&T is going to be checked. So that's why in the starting, I have already told that when you are joining any company, you should not be stick to the only your CAD station. You go to the manufacturing, then you at the same time you have to go into the quality department also. It is not expecting from you that you should be take all the measuring instrument and measure the parts, but at least you should be knowledge that how the part is going to be inspected, how the part GD&T is to be going to be checked, what are the various instrument are going to be asked. Let's consider the I have already told you that I am work in seating domain and the BIW welding fixture. This is a actual CAD model of the automobile seat. You can see this is the front seat. Okay, you can all of you see this is a real model of uh, front seat that is used in the passenger car. Now you can see here are various parts are over there. All the sheet metal parts are there. Okay, here like that stamping parts are the sheet metal parts. Here the tubular parts are over there. Here you can see the mechanism, track mechanism like that. We will go in deep in that when actual GD&T lecture will start. So now when I have to assemble these total seat parts over here, what I need is that I have to give the GD&T to the every part. That is you can consider this track, or you can consider this magenta color sheet metal structure wire. So while making the drawing of these things, you have to give the geometrical dimensioning all these things to then this part, and then and only then this seat will work properly. If your GD&T is not properly, this assembly is not working properly, because this is not a static assembly. Okay, you all aware know that seat when you are sit I think you all of you know the vehicle seat. When you sit in the car, the seat move forward and backward, it will move up and down. There are all the mechanisms are there, so it is not like a static seat. So in that case, you are when you have to work your mechanism of this seat properly, you have to give the GD&T to every part properly. In sitting domain, when you are the GD&T is very important right now, because if you are giving wrong GD&T, the part will not get manufactured, and it is a the function is it is not properly. So GD&T plays a vital role in this assembly. And right now, apart from that, let's I will give a little bit a simple example. This is all industrial example. Let's give a practical example. You all of have the tube light at your house, and it is manufactured by various companies like Surya, Philips, or whatever may be. And you have the tube holder at your house. When you buy any another tube light, when it is not working properly, you just go to the market and buy the tube light. First you are using the Surya tube light company, and after that you using the Philips tube light, and you buy at home. So when you try to fit in that tube holder, it will immediately get fitted. Okay, it not happen that you have to buy the another holder or like that. So why this happens, that is called the compatibility. This is a very important aspect of the GD&T. So what is that compatibility? That you can fit any part from anywhere in that tube holder. So that is called the compatibility. That is Philips tube light you can fit, Surya or Wipro tube light, whatever ABC manufacturing company, it will fitted in your tube holder. So that is the GD&T role play over here. When you go for an interview, like you go for Whirlpool company interview, the total interview will be happen only on the GD&T rather than your basic engineering, because they all know that you are all aware the fact of basic engineering concept like material, then metallurgy, SOM, all these things they know. But the main total interview is only on the GD&T, because their total work is on the GD&T. If even they want to hire the CAD engineer, right now, they should be know that the person should be have the knowledge of the GD&T. So first question they will ask in the interview, what do you mean by GD&T and why you have to be given. So GD&T is the universal language speak by the designer to the manufacturer to manufacture the part without the ambiguity. What exactly it means? When I manufacture any part, first I have to make its drawing. If I am not able to make its drawing, then whatever the part I have manufactured, it's of news. Whatever you make any part in the CAD model, it should be manufactured, it should be assembled properly. So for that you have to make the drawing. So only making the drawing is not important, you have to give the GD&T in that. So the giving the GD&T to that part will make that part manufacturable, and then only it go to the project department, and then it's going to be manufactured, then going to the quality department. So in right now, the design engineer, the quality engineer, and the manufacturing engineer, both three persons from the industry should have the knowledge of the GD&T. So this is the first that I want to tell you, that the what is the importance of the GD&T. And in interview, they will definitely ask you why you have to give the GD&T and what is the GD&T. So GD&T is nothing but the geometrical dimensions and the tolerances. And why you have to give, I have just explained. Okay. So right now, what is the topic cover under the GD&T? This is the very important. Basically, I have already told in the starting that GD&T is a very vast subject. And right now at your end, starting of the career, to understand the concept is little bit difficult right now. But still, I'm trying to explain you. So what is the, what concept or like that are you are cover under the GD&T? First is the 3-to-1 principle and the datum. Now, 3-to-1 principle and the datum, it is not only used in the GD&T, it will use in the fixture. I have already worked 5 years in the fixture department also, tooling, and 2 years in the product development also. So first I want to tell you that whether you work in tooling department or like that manufacturing or product development, GD&T you should have know properly. So what is the 3-to-1 principle? Let me tell you with one example. I have made it for you. Can you see all this part properly?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you see now properly?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
Yes. Okay. Okay. Good. That's good. Now, if you are not understand the 3-to-1 principle properly, you cannot give the GD&T. Even you cannot proceed the GD&T. This is the first, because in interview, first question is why, what is the GD&T and why you have to give the GD&T. And second question immediately come, what do you understand by the 3-to-1 principle, followed by the 6 degree of the freedom. Let's take this example. This is the one block over here, and this is the shaft is fixed inside this. Okay, that's not our issue right now. Now you can see here, this part is have a 6 degree of freedom. What exactly it means? That is, it if you consider, I am doing this in CATIA software. It can be rotated like this to direction, then it can be rotated like this direction. It can be moved up and down like this. It can be moved in up and down, left and right, and in this direction. So it has a 6 degree of freedom, like 3 rotation and 3 translational. So first, what is your while giving the GD&T in universe? Yes. So first, our main important criteria is to log this part, and for that you have to use the datum. That in GD&T it plays a vital role. That is the GD&T and the datums. I have here clearly mentioned over here. Now, when I fix this part or on this plane, there are 3 points you can see. I will first hide this plane and I will zoom it. Okay. Now you can see this 1 point, this 1 point, and this 1 point. This is called 3 point. What does it mean? It forms one plane over here. You can see in blue color, like the sky blue color. So now my part is rested on this plane. So it one log the 2 rotational, 1 translational. Now it will log again this like 2 points over here. That is, it form another one plane over here, and it will lock one rotation, one translational in this direction, and this is the one point over area. That is, it will lock in this direction. So exactly, hello?
Hello.
Hi. I'm muting all. Please mute all, everybody. Hello. Everybody, please mute yourselves. Otherwise, it will be creating a distortion. Dinesh, check your mic also. Dinesh, sir, you can check your unmute. You have unmuted everybody. I mean, muted everybody. You can mute yourself, Dinesh sir.
Okay.
I've muted everybody. You can unmute.
Okay, ठीक है.
Because I don't want there's a distortion in voice,
Mhm.
so we want silence.
Okay. So
Yes,
now
yes.
the 3-1 principle that is called the 6 degree of freedom is comes in the picture. See, these are the 3 points which form one plane, and on this the part is rested. It will be lock your orientation, like about the axis, like vertical axis. These are the 2 points which form another plane. That is your part is rest against this, and your 1 point from another, that is it lock against in this direction. So 6 degree of freedom are going to be locked by 3 mutually perpendicular planes, and these 3 mutually perpendicular planes are nothing but the datums, which are very important in our GD&T right now. What is now you can see. Okay, now you can see the same concept I have placed over here in the format. The A is called as a primary datum, the B is called as a secondary datum, and the C is called as a tertiary datum. So primary datums get locked to your orientation, and B and C are called as a secondary and tertiary, which gets locked your location. That is, it should not be moving all direction. That is 6 degree of freedom. 2 rotational, 1 translational lock by A, 1 rotation, 1 translational lock by B, and C, 1 rotation, 1 translational lock by tertiary datum C. We will see all these things in detail when we are start our GD&T lecture in deep. But right now, you just understand that what is the treatment principle, what is the datum, and what is its role in the GD&T. So, and the sequence of the datum is very important. In interview,
Hello, sir. It's not audible, sir.
Yes. Dinesh, yes.
क्या
Yes.
audible
You.
ना? Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
it's audible.
Okay. So now, right now, we have locked the 6 degree of freedom, and he might be asked you in the interview question that what are the datums A, B, C you have given? Can I change the order of that? And the answer is not, because it have a very important, that is datum A, datum B, and datum C. So the order is very important in while you are giving the GD&T in your drawings. Okay, so let's GD&T symbol and the modifier. So what exactly it means, GD&T symbols? Let me now, before going to the GD&T, you should be first understand what is the standard you are going to be used. Okay, in most of the interview question or even while giving the GD&T, you should be aware that what is the ASME Y 14.5M or 1994. ASME stand for the American Standard of Mechanical Engineer, and Y 14.5 is a code, and 1994 is your year. Right now we are using the 2009. So most of the time in the interview, he will definitely ask you the question, what GD&T standard you are using. That is called the ASME Y 14.5 1994. That should be your answer. And right now we are using the 2009. So now the question arises, what ASME Y 14.5 exactly include in the total GD&T. let's consider move to this slide. Now you can consider under the ASME Y 14 point, all this going to be are considered at your you can say that it is just only for the information purpose. No one is going to be asked in the interview what is 14.1 14.5 consider, but for your knowledge information, and I have just included this slide. So ASME Y 14.5 decimal inch drawing sheet size and format. I think you are all aware what is the sheet size A1, A2, A3. Then you know the inch standard decimal, that the dimensions are given by two standard. One is in India we use the mm, and in US they are using the inch standard. So your ASME Y 14.1 decide what should be digit, that is 21.5 you want to use, or in inches 0.0321 inch you have to use. That totally going to be controlled by your ASME 14.5. 41.5 metric drawing sheet size, that I have already told you, that is mm. 14.2 live conversation and lettering. See, in drawing you are giving letters, that is text size, uh, section view, detail view, that you have to write it. So its height and lettering is considered by the Y 14.2. If you want to go in detail in that, you can search on the go for ASME Y 14.2 GDNT book. You will totally get the in detail depth of this. This is not agenda of the GDNT, but still I have introduced because you should be aware the fact that what is all this and how it is going to be controlled. Now 14.3 orthographic and pictorial view. You all know the orthographic view, pictorial view, isometric view. ASME Y 14 point dimensioning and the tolerances. That is, this is our main importance. Why 14.5? We have to concentrate only on these 14.5 dimensions and tolerancing throughout our lecture. Now again, mechanical definition and dimension. 14.6 your screw and representation. Screw thread representations you all of know. Single start, multiple start. Well, we are starting the GDNT. I will explain again what kind of questions they will ask around the screw threads, all these things. Now 14.31 again, undimension the drawings, then association lines, revision of engineering drawing, and all these things. Basically, ASME Y 14.36 surface texture symbol, that is a machining surface that you are using to in drawing. There is surface texture symbol, that is how much micron you have to be in control that surface. That total guidelines is given under this ASME Y 14.36 in 37 digital approval system. Digital approval system means what? You have to how to drawing upload, how to store the drawing, how to in which format you have to control that drawing. They are all control 14.37. 14.38 abbreviations and acronyms of the drawing and the related documents. Then digital product definitions come under 14.11 like that. Then here are the composite part drawing, dimensioning, tolerances, references. These are all the subpart of the ASME Y 14.38. But our total focus is only on the right now ASME Y 14.5. Okay, I have just introduced this slide only for your sake of purpose, because most you should be aware that if in future if someone will be asked, you should not be confused that what is he's talking 14.2 14.3. It is just informatory. I think I will give this slide also at the end of the session to you. Now again, our GDNT symbol and the tolerance zone and all these things. Now let's concentrate about our here. This is the very important right now, GDNT symbols. Okay, now there are 14 GDNT symbols. This is the another third basic question in the interview. They will ask you how many GDNT symbols are there. There are 14 GDNT symbols are there, and how they are classified it. Form. In form, what happens? Flatness is there, straightness is there, circularity is there, and cylindericity is there. The symbols are for this like this. They are under total form. Now your question is, what is the type of the tolerance? That is, it is under the form. Exactly what exactly it do? Let me tell you one example with the. Now you can consider this shaft over here. Now form means what? You have to consider its straightness, then its surface, cylindericity, then circularity, all these things. That is, the shape is going to be considered in this form tolerances. The main important thing of the form tolerances that it do not use any datum. I think we have just discussed before that there is a primary datum, secondary datum, tertiary datum is over there. But for this tolerance, you don't need to provide any datum like A, B or C. You have to just put the value over the flatness or whatever it may be, and you can given the drawing. That is the what the flatness is considered. It considers the flatness of the surfaces. What straightness is to be considered? It in this case you can consider the straightness of the axis over here. If you draw one axis over here, you can consider over the one axis over here. So you can straightness of the axis is to be considered by that GD&T symbol over there. Now the circularity is over there. Circularity means what? You have to consider the round shape of this profile. You can see over here. I can zoom it for you. Circularity at various sections you can control under that. Then your cylindricity. Cylindricity is same, but the function is that it is cylindricity throughout your surface and circularity at your only one section over us there. So in interview, they will definitely ask you that, can you use the datum A, B, C in that form tolerance? Your answer should be like that. So no need of the datum A, B, C for that form tolerance. Now the another is come in the picture is the profile tolerance. That the profile tolerance symbol is like this, and the surface profile, line profile and the surface. These are the two subtypes. You have to remember all the symbols throughout your career while giving the GD&T symbol over here. Now, line profile and what is the surface profile? The basic difference between line profile and the surface profile is, let me introduce exact. I will give the practical example which I have used in the sitting domain over here. Okay, so this is the, you can consider the side member bracket over here. Okay, all of you know it is a pink color, magenta color bracket over here. Now I have to control this profile over here. So for that I need to use the profile tolerance over here. If I used to consider the 2D counter, that is 2-dimensional, I will use the line profile. And if I used to control the 3D profile, I have to use the profile of surface. So that is the basic difference of that profile of line and profile of surface. In interview, they will definitely ask you the question. So while giving the session, I'm also explaining you what kind of question they will ask you at the time of the interview. First, they will ask you what is the 14. Tell me the 14 symbols they want. They told you to write the symbols with naming, and they will ask you in which category they form. They form in form, they form in profile, they form in orientation, they form in runout, or they form in location. So we are up to now we see the form and the profile, that is profile of line and profile of surface. Profile of line is considered under 2D and the profile of surface is considered under 3D. Now you have to consider the orientation. This is the very important things. What consider in orientation? Perpendicularity, angularity and the parallelism. Let's consider over here. What do you mean by the perpendicularity? Now this axis, what I have shown for this shaft, it has to be perpendicular to this surface. That comes under the orientation. The meaning of the orientation lies over here. The perpendicularity of this axis, this is highlight axis, you can see. For you, I am zooming over there. So this axis of this shaft has to be perpendicular to this datum. So that comes under the orientation. Now, second is the angularity and the parallelism. Parallelism I have already showed over here. Now, what parallelism means? What the axis of both the shaft has to be within the parallel. In that case, what they will do? They will do the one hole as a datum and again hole with. For this, you have to use as this datum and you have to make the parallelism of this. So parallelism play a vital role in over here. Angularity is most of the time we use in the company is no angularity, and the symmetry most of the company are not going to be used over here. The main use, they are using the form. If you go choose the sitting domain over there, form and the profile are very important things. In orientation, hardly perpendicularity is going to be used. Angularity and parallelism is not going to mostly use. Now the coming the runout. What is the circular runout and the total runout? The symbol is this over here, circular runout, and the symbol for this is the total runout. Now let's consider the for the shaft also. What exactly it means? Circular runout means exactly you have to check the surface, how much it is deviate from the datum, that is axis A datum, and it is measured by the dial gauge indicator. And that there is a total runout. Total runout means you have to check the throughout the whole surface with respect to your datum axis A. That is called the circular runout and total runout. In when you are go for the interview, they will first you ask what is the basic difference circular runout and total runout, and how it is going to be checked, and what is the difference for both circular runout or total runout. What they will do, they will rotate the shaft by 360 degree, and they will put one dial gauge indicator over there. I will show that dial gauge
Dinesh,
indicator.
please reshare the screen because somebody has scribbled. No, reshare. Then again it will
Okay.
wipe out. By mistake also it happens. By somebody.
This one now?
Screen reshare. Please
Okay.
reshare because somebody has scribbled. Again you reshare it. So again fresh screen will come out. Let's see if you could try to remove this one.
Okay. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. So runout, I have already told that it is going to be checked at one section, that is they are make this as a section over there, circular runout, and total runout is going to be checked throughout the surface, and then for that you have to rotate the shaft. Now how it is measured? For
Just a
that,
second, Dinesh. Dinesh, please reshare. It's not okay. Please reshare.
okay.
Because somebody has scribbled the things. Because I'm monitoring 100 audience. And just 2 minutes, people. Just reshare. Please reshare. And don't try to log out because the participant side was only for 100 people. Again, you will not be able to join. Please, so don't log out. Anybody who has joined it. Because it's.
Can you see now?
Yes.
Just no, not able to see. Please share again, Dinesh. Please try again, Dinesh. Yes. Yes, we are able to see. Dinesh, unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yes. Now we are able
Yes.
to hear. Yes.
Now I will explain again. In GDNT, I will first want to tell you that the GDNT before that is measured by the dial gauge indicator in most of the company. The least count of this dial gauge indicator is at 10 micron. Most of the people, I think the people are from quality, they know the dial gauge indicator. The design engineer also have read in MMC subject. So the dial gauge indicator, what they will do, they will put that dial gauge indicator pointer over here in the deviation. But nowadays, no one is most of the times to get the accurate reading, they are going to be used this called as a coordinate measuring machine. I think most of the quality person are aware with the fact of what is the coordinate measure machine, that is called the CMM. It has a one little bit probe. Sometimes it can be movable or fixed, and with the help of that, all the GD&T are going to be measured. Sometimes to measure the roundness or concentricity, they are using the V block. The shaft is put in the V block, and the dial gauge is moved on that surface, and the shaft is rotated, and the reading are taken. That we will see in deep. But right now, for introductory, you should be only know that how the GD&T is going to be measured. At it is informative right now. In interview, they will definitely ask you how you are measuring going to be GD&T. So quality people little they have full idea of this. They are measure it with the help of V block. Then they are measuring with the help of dial gauge indicator. Then they will measure with the help of Vernier caliper sometimes. Then they are measure with the coordinate measuring machine CMM. Okay, so this you should be know properly what is that exactly. Now in GD&T, this another main topic introduction is that tolerance zone. So what exactly it means tolerance zone? Now, okay, for you, you can see this shaft, and this is the shaft axis, and you can see this is the circular shaft over there. This is called as a circular or cylindrical tolerance zone. In GD&T, we use the cylindrical tolerance zone because it covers the maximum area that we will definitely see in detail. But right now, for the information purposes, you should only know that what are the cylindrical zone. In interview, they will definitely ask you what are the types of the tolerance zone. The meaning of tolerance zone is what? Whatever the GD&T value you are given in case of concentricity position, the diameter of this is given that by that value. The axis has to be lie in within this tolerance zone, that is within this. It has a deviation of this. Your axis will be anywhere lie in this, and it is acceptable. This is called as a cylindrical tolerance zone. There is another tolerance zone which is called as a rectangular tolerance zone. You can see over here. But what happened? This tolerance zone is nobody is going to be used right now because it not cover the maximum area. It only covers the maximum area if you consider maximum area is only covered by this diagonal, and you are get a little bit tolerance zone. So for this, what you are going to be use? You have to use that, and you can see the basic difference between why you have to use the cylindrical tolerance zone instead of rectangular. See, if you use the cylindrical tolerance zone, means what exactly it means? Your axis can lie anywhere within this. That is, you can get the maximum deviation. But if you consider the rectangular tolerance zone, then only diagonal element get the maximum value. But if you consider rectangular tolerance zone, your axis will be get maximum area, and you are get the maximum deviation. And because of that, your rejection will be less. I think quality people might all know in detail, because the rejection is what happen if your part is not lie within the deviation or within the GD&T which you have given in the drawing. It will be definitely got rejected. So to avoid the rejection, you have to use the cylindrical tolerance zone. So in the interview, they will 101% ask what are the tolerance zone and how basically it go, what are the types of it. So at that time you have to give the answer. One is a cylindrical and one is a square or rectangular tolerance zone. This can be now your cylindrical tolerance zone is achieved by the basic dimensions, and your rectangular tolerance zone is achieved by the coordinate method that we will see in deep. But right now you should only get only up to this, that there are two cylindrical tolerance zone and rectangular tolerance zone. But in GD&T we are going to use the rectangular tolerance zone. Okay, now run out our consider location. In location, what we are considering is the concentricity, position, and the symmetry. Now, concentricity means what? Let's consider this example again. Now you can now forget about this is the tolerance zone. Consider that this is a one shaft over there and this is another shaft over there. Now what I will do, the axis of this shaft and the axis of this shaft has to be concentrate. Otherwise the part is not fitted in the assembly properly. So in that case you have to use the concentricity. In that case what I will consider the axis of this big shaft as a datum, and I will what in the concentricity I will mention that my this axis has to be concentric with this axis in within the deviation. So that is called as the concentricity. Then position. Now for the position I will give another one example. Now if you consider, we already explained this is my datum A, now this is my datum B, and this is C. Now the position of this hole is to be going to be considered by that tolerance which called as a position tolerance. So in that case, when I have to consider the pattern of location and its orientation and location, I have used to the position tolerance. And another is the symmetry. Symmetry is most of the times is not used most of the industry basically, but it is mostly used in like your if you consider this milling machine or drilling machine, there is a tool holder device ISO 30 shank. You might have those who are working in the manufacturing, they have seen that there is a shank holder over there, that or some tapers are there, ISO 30 J30, all these things. So to manufacture that part you have to give the symmetric tolerances. I want to first tell you that whatever the 14 symbols GD&T we have considered, it will its application is totally depend on the in which product you are working. If you are working in the sitting domain, the most tolerances are used are profile of line, profile of surface, perpendicularity, and your position tolerance. If you work in the fixture, then there are mostly 2 to 3 tolerances are used, like perpendicularity, then circularity, like that. If you work in some product development parts, like I have just discussed a milling machine parts, a tool holder, then in that case symmetry or parallelism we can use. So application of the total GD&T is totally depend upon what product you are going to be used. Now we will consider these are the now in GD&T you should be aware the these kind of symbol. Most of the people who are already working, who are working in the industry, or all the college students, they have used this kind of symbols in their graphics drawing in drawing department. Then quality person might have aware, but still I have included this slide. You should be aware with the all these symbols. What is the counter bore, that is you have to use. Then this is the depth, that is how much hole you have to be depth, you have to show on the drawing. For this you have to give this symbol. Counter sunk, that is it is one type of screw you have to use. Then this is a spherical diameter. Then this is the R, capital R radius. When you have to show the radius in the drawing, you have to use the R. Then when you have to show the in a spherical diameter or dimension, you have to use the this kind of SR. Then this is called as a control radius. When what exactly it means, when you have to show any radius in the drawing, and it is a very important. Let me give one example. When I want to give the radius of these dimensions for this sheet metal bracket for the sitting, this is sheet metal bracket used in sitting. For this, for me this radius is very important because my foam is sitting, one part is sitting on this radius. So for that I have to control this radius, and I want to tell the manufacturer that my this radius is very important. So in that case I use the symbol. I will not give only radius dimension, but I will write over there as a CR, that is called as a control radius, and that is called as a spherical radius. This is called as a number of places. What exactly it means? Number of places means what? If there are two holes are there, and I want to show the dimensions, diameter of this hole. If the diameter of this hole is at 10, So every time I will not do the giving the dimensions like this. So this is 10 diameter, this is 10 diameter, this is 10 diameter. What I will do, 1, 2, 3 hole. These have the 10 diameter. I will just do 3 into 10. That is enough. The This symbol stand for number of features, that how many places are here. That means 4 holes are there, 5 holes are there. You have to just write 4 over here, and what is the diameter over here. Another is the statistical tolerance. It mostly not used in the industry, and this is called as the reference dimensions. So what is exactly reference dimension is that uh, when you will give the dimensions of this, like coordinate dimension, distance between two holes from here to here or here to here, and you want to give the distance from this hole over here, and you want to just give it for the reference. The reference dimension is only for the reference purpose. It is not going to be measured in the quality department. It is only for you can say that material procurement, that kind of reason you can use. That means exactly what, uh, if I given the reference, if you consider let's sheet metal part, it will give better idea. See, in the industry, when we make the drawing for this bracket, it is not important for us the total length, but still we are giving the total length of this bracket in the length dimension in the bracket, that this length, then this width, and this. See, if you consider, I will zoom it. It is a curvature part. Okay. So, and see here or here, the end of the bracket is a curvature. The total length of the dimension is given in bracket, that is called the reference. So why it is used? Basically, when I have to procure the part, I have to procure the material or raw material for this part, I should be have the idea. So how much material I have to be ordered, and how much space that part is to be taken in the assembly. So for the purpose of that, we giving that dimension in the bracket. We will little bit see the reference dimensions in detail when we are start the training actual. But for now, you have to just uh, keep it in mind that the reference dimensions is only for the only reference purpose, and it just give the idea that how this part get space, how much space is occupied by this bracket in the total sitting assembly. So to understand, you have to give that dimensions in the drawing. Okay. Now this is called as a this is the very important things in the GD&T. Okay. Now what are these? These are all the material modifier. This is called as a maximum material condition. This is called as a least material condition, projected tolerance zone, tangent plane diameter, and the free state conditions. Out of this, only important is called as a maximum material conditions, least material conditions, projected tolerance zone. Tangent plane is not going to be used. Diameter, it is important, and the free state, it is also not used in the industry. The important thing is that maximum material conditions, least material conditions, projected tolerance zone, and the diameter. Now, when you are proceeding in the GD&T, you should be properly aware with the fact of what is the maximum material condition and the least material condition. If you are not understanding this concept, what is the maximum material condition, least material condition, the next concept in the GD&T, that is datum shift, then virtual conditions, then bonus tolerance. You are these three basic concepts are the of the GD&T, and in the interview they will definitely ask what is the these three things. So for understanding these three things, you should be properly aware what is the maximum material condition and what is the least material condition. And okay, so symbol for the maximum material condition is M, and the least material condition is a L. I will show a little bit, explain over here what is the maximum material condition. It is just introduction. You should be know what is the maximum material condition. Now you just consider only this shaft. Don't consider this plate right now. Now, what is the maximum control condition for the shaft is that it is its outer diameter. That is when you are giving that, if the diameter of the shaft is, let's consider 60, and I will give the tolerance for this shaft as a 60 plus minus zero point 0.1. What is the maximum size of the shaft is 60 plus 1 is a 61 and 60 minus 1 is a 59. So I have the two shaft, I have the deviation 59 and 61. What exactly it means? That is, if I manufacture the shaft of diameter 59, or if my shaft is going to be manufactured 61, it is going to be acceptable. So for a shaft, what is the maximum condition is 561. The exactly meaning of maximum material condition is, you just write, roughly remember that in which phase you are getting the maximum material. For a shaft, when you are considering the upper limit, that is called as a 61, it is called as a maximum material condition. And for shaft, LMC is least material condition, that is the 59, when that is 60 minus 1, that is 59. So for a shaft, maximum material condition is a higher value. Now consider this hole. Now when this is the 60 diameter hole, when I give the tolerance for this hole as a 60 plus minus zero point 0.1, there are two possibilities. One is a 61 diameter hole and another is a 59 diameter hole. Now for hole, the maximum material condition is totally opposite of the shaft. In this case, the maximum material condition is 59 and the least material condition is a 61. Why it is? Because the a maximum material condition and an LMC material condition, you have to just little bit get confused. But you, for for remember purpose, you just remember only one thing is that in which condition you are getting the maximum material, that is called a maximum material condition. For shaft, it is the higher value, and for a hole, it is a lower value. That means if you manufacture the shaft of 61 diameter, 60 plus 1, it is maximum material condition, and least material condition 60 minus 1, it is 59. But in hole, you are when you manufacture the hole of 59 diameter, you are getting the maximum material in that condition. That is, for a hole, the MMC is 59 and LMC is 61. So we will see this concept in little bit deep when you are start the actual GD&T lecture. But for right now, you just remember in the mind that what is the maximum and LMC for the shaft and hole. This MMC and LMC, you can say, definitely ask in the interview at that time. If you go in sitting domain, if you go in any product development, or you go in tooling department, MMC and LMC is very important, because in tooling, when you are manufacturing gauges, fixtures, the MMC and LMC are play a vital role, because in that case you have to manufacturing the pins, and they are very critical parts. In checking fixture, you have to manufacture pin and you have to put in that sheet metal BIW part, and you have to check the diameter of that hole. So in that case, the maximum material condition and least material conditions are very important. So right now you just only think only that in which condition you are getting the maximum material, that is the MMC for that. For a shaft, it is upper limit, and for a hole, it is a lower. Okay, now we'll consider now how the GD&T is going to be used. Now you can see, I have just given the example. This is position tolerance. Sometimes this is called as a composite feature control frame. What exactly it means? This is total called as a GD&T symbol. In most of the interview, at the starting, they will give you one paper and they will ask you draw the symbol for this and explain what are the parameters in this symbol. First is GD&T symbol over here. This is called as a phi diameter symbol. We have already used over here. This symbol, diameter symbol over here, we are used. Point one is the value of that GD&T. A are the primary datum, P are the secondary datum, and C are the tertiary datum. We have already discussed all these things. Now I have already discussed right now what this is called as a material modifier, that is called as a maximum material condition, and this is called as a its value 0.1, and this is called as a phi, that is called as a tolerance zone. Now I will again explain you again. We have you just use. Okay, let's consider with this example. Now this is called as the tolerance zone. I have just explained just 10 minutes back what is the tolerance zone. So 5.1 means what? The diameter of this tolerance zone is a 0.1. That is, this diameter value is 0.1. And this is called as a material modifier. That is maximum material condition we have just explained. And these are the ABC datum. Now, most of the time in drawing, you can see this as a composite feature control frame. In that case, we can use the same material modifier over here and use maximum material condition AB. We will see this composite feature control frame in detail when we start little bit next lecture. But for introductory, you just remember that what is the composite feature control frame. That this is like this. These are the ABC datum they have already given. That is primary datum, secondary datum, tertiary datum. So what is the function? What A will do? A will control your orientation. I have already explained you. And B and C your location. Now this is called as a one another concept that is called as the projected tolerance zone. See, projected tolerance zone, it is used. It is also one type of material modifier you can use over here. See, P. Here we have just in maximum material condition M and P. You can see this slide. Projected tolerance zone, exactly P. What I will just explain you in brief what exactly it means. See, in this part, what are there is a this is a threaded holes are over there, and one bolt is going to 4 bolt are going to be fixed in that threaded hole. For that, we have to use the position tolerance, and you have to project that tolerance 10 with the value of 0.5 mm. What exactly it means? It means that uh, when my when I will use put one bolt over there, it should not be clash with the with this hole over here, that 4 hole. So to avoid the interference of hole and to maintain the perpendicularity, we use the projected tolerance zone, and its value is going over here 0.5. Now if you concentrate on this material GDNT symbol, here there is a 0.1 that is maximum material condition. Phi is the tolerance zone that we have already discussed, cylindrical. 0.1 is value and M is maximum material condition. P is projected tolerance zone and its value is 0.5. That means my this tolerance zone is come out from this surface up to 0.5 value, which is given by here. And A, B, C are the primary, secondary and tertiary datums like this, A, B and C. Right now I have just introduced this projected tolerance zone concept. In industry, this most of the time is not going to be used, but for the knowledge purpose, I have just introduced this. Now this is called as a free state condition. Another material modified over here. Free state, you can see. This also is not going to be used in the industry, but what exactly its function is that free state symbol used to override the constraint node. Whatever the node you are providing over here, you want to override it, you have to just use the material modified over here. These all symbols are called as a material modifier. Okay, MMC, LMC, projected tolerance zone, tangent plane. Tangent plane is not going to be mostly used, but maximum material conditions, least material conditions, projected tolerance zone, free state, and diameter. These 5 symbols are definitely going to be used in the GDNT, and you should be aware with the all these symbols. And in the interview, they'll definitely ask the question only about MMC and the LMC. No one going to be asked what is the projected tolerance zone, all these things. But MMC and LMC concept has to be very important. Now, let's consider this drawing. Now I want to just introduce one concept in this, that the difference between the dimensions and the GDNT. Here, in this case, you have given the dimension of the hole like that, 5.6. Its angle is given. All the only dimensions you are mentioning in the drawing, and after giving the dimension, the part is manufactured like this, and you can see, which is not acceptable. You can see the surface is not properly over here. Then its concentricity, roundness, its eccentricity is not going to be controlled. So this part is going to be 100% got rejected. Now consider this. Here you are giving the dimensions along with GDNT. How the GDNT symbols are given. See, here you are giving the 16 diameter plus minus 0.1. Its positions is going to be given. Then here you are giving the profile. We have already discussed what is the profile tolerance. Its value is 0.2 in given with respect to 0.1. And this circular symbol is, the meaning of this is all round. That will be discussed later. After giving the GD&T, the part is going to be manufactured like this. See here, same part is there, but in above case you have just given only the dimension, not GD&T. But in this case, you have given the dimensions along with the GD&T. So after giving the GD&T, the part manufactured like this. You can see it is properly manufactured. Now see the surface quality over here and here. Why you are get a good quality of surface over here? Because here you are maintaining the profile of surface. You are giving the gradient over there. Because of this, your profile is going to be get control. The you can see the hole, center hole. Might be one shaft is going to be fitted over here. So its position is very important. So for controlling that position, you have given the point 20, 0.2 value over here with reference to A. So I was just want to introduce the difference between only dimensioning and dimensioning with the GD&T. This we already concluded. Okay. Now, most of the time, there are various standards are going to be used in the industry. ANSI, then ASME, American Standard of Mechanical Engineer, and ISO, International Standard Set Organization. It is called as the ISO. So we are going to use this as a ASME Y 1994 and not ISO and not ANSI. But if you are working for, see, in when you are working for various industries, like if you are working in the John Deere, they are work for the various countries, like New Zealand, then US, then Germany, France, whatever. So whatever the standard they are follow, if they are follow ISO standard, then your datum symbol should be appear in this way. If you are follow ASME standard, your symbol should be like this. And they are follow ANSI standard. ANSI standard are mostly followed by the German people. So your symbol should be like this. So it is just representation. Most of the time in the interview they ask how you classify the datum. So you should not be get confused at that time. So what is the ASME standard? What is the ISO standard? And you should not be make any confusion. If you are following the ASME standard, you should not be this ISO symbol, datum symbol in that. Your datum should be represented like this only. If you are follow ISO symbol, your triangle should be like this. And if you are giving the ANSI symbol, your symbol should be like this. Now this is, I have already explained dial gauge indicators. Now this is called as a little bit, you can say that how the GD&T symbol is going to be explained. In the same slide is here, but I have just explained in brief. This is called as a geometrical characteristic symbol, position. We have already discussed 14 symbol. Here there can be a perpendicularity, there can be a symmetry, there can be a concentricity, there can be a flatness, whatever depend on. This is called as a tolerance zone. We have already discussed circular, rectangular. This is the value of the tolerance value 0.05. This is called the material modifier, we have already discussed. And this is called A, this is called as a B, and this is called as a C. Now when you go for the interview, they will put the one drawing in front of you and they will ask you explain all these things. So in that case, you should be able to answer. See what is the position, what is zone description, that is tolerance zone 0.5, maximum material condition like that. Now, one another important concept we have already discussed, that MMC and LMC. In interview, they ask you what is the bonus tolerance. That so what is that bonus tolerance? It is the additional tolerance will be given by along with this GD&T symbol that we will later consider in deep. But just right now you have to just remember one thing, that for bonus tolerance you should be have the maximum material condition or LMC condition has to be mentioned in the tolerance frame. Okay, so this is called as a material modifier. So bonus tolerance concept is very important. It will be give the additional bonus tolerance which will be reduce your uh, scrap or rejection. So most of the company, they will ask in the interview question why you are giving this, what is this symbol, and why you have given the symbol over there. So your answer should be like that. This is the material modifier. It is called as a maximum material condition, and this given in the drawing only because we want to achieve the bonus tolerance. So that should be your answer, because by giving the MMC you can achieve the bonus tolerance over there. Now, okay, so I just want to introduce I want to come again on this slide. When you go for any interview right now, if you go for any interview like that, design or anything, the basic question they will ask you that what they will draw one plate over here like that, and they give the thickness, and they will ask you to give the GD&T for this plate. This is the very common and repeated question asked in the interview. Even after 10 years, I have given the interview, the same question will be asked, and for your entry level, the same question will be asked. So in that case, how you have to give the dimensions like that? You have to give the, you have to mention first datum A over here, B, C. Then we have just discussed before what is that symbol cross, number of pieces. What it means that these are the two holes which have the diameter of 10 or 9.5, and its position is given over here. Then you have to give the center distance over here and all these things, that 10.0 and 9.5, whatever it may be. It's a maximum.
Please mute everybody. Please mute.
Can you?
Just I'm trying to mute.
Okay.
Please mute everybody.
Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you go for any interview, the basic question will be asked, that they will give you this plate with two holes and only this section, and they will ask you to give the GD&T for this hole. So your answer should be like that. You have to first mention the primary datum over here, secondary datum, tertiary datum. We have just seen that what is the position tolerance. This is tolerance zone. This is tolerance value. This is the maximum material condition, A, B, C. Then this is the limit value of this hole. 2 is the, why 2 is given, that because there are two holes. The cross is that we have just explained in the above slide. It is how many numbers of the holes to represent that. And this is a 10.09.5 value. It's the value. That means if my hole is going to be manufactured 10, or my hole is going to be manufactured 9.5, the 0.5 value tolerance I have get in this.
Just hold on. I'm trying to mute everybody. Redmi, I don't know. Yes, please continue.
Okay. Now let us little bit conclude. This is the last slide of the GD&T. Now after giving, when you go for any interview, they will put the drawing in front of you like this, and in that case they will check your drawing reading skills. So in that case they will ask, they will put a print of this drawing and in front of you, and they will ask you, please explain this drawing. So in that case, the GD, when after giving the GD&T drawing, how basically it looks like, it is the one example I have proved. See here, there the datum B is given for this whole axis. Then here the position tolerance they have given. the perpendicularity they have given. This is then the position tolerance, maximum material condition, parallelism of the hole is given. This is the datum A, this is the datum B. Then this is the position tolerance hole for the hole they have given. Then they have given the dimensions of this hole, that is 8 into 45. Meaning of this is that there are 8 holes on this drawing, which is at 45-degree interval. Their total runout is over here, which we have already discussed. Then this is the datum C, that is 0.03. This is with respect to B, like that. That means this is a total, you can say that total GD&T. When after giving the GD&T to any drawing, how the drawing is look like. This is the one good example you can refer. Datum A, datum B, datum C, perpendicularity, position, all these things they have given. So at introductory level, or when you go for an interview, you should be practice to give the GD&T to the, you can say that, to the drawing. Now I want to give the one important thing is that if you are consider any software like AutoCAD, then you can consider in CATIA, Unigraphics, Creo, whatever 3D software you are going to be used, you should be able to give the GD&T symbol in the drawing properly. Because what happen when you go for an interview in Creo, giving the GD&T is little bit difficult as compared to the CATIA or SolidWorks, whatever it may be. So when you are go for an interview, you should be hands-on properly on the drawing or drafting model of any software. If you consider CATIA, AutoCAD, SolidWorks, UG or Creo, when you because what happens when you go for any tool test, after completing the 3D model, they ask you to prepare the drawing with the GD&T. In that case, you should be able to give the GD&T properly to the drawing. So you can refer this drawing for that. Okay. Now in drafting for they have like CATIA, Creo or any 3D software, everyone has its own methodology to giving the GD&T in or toolbar, whatever it may be. So you should be aware that toolbar properly. So when you are practicing any 3D software after your completion all the model like part modeling, assembly, drafting, you should be complete 2 to 4 drawings with GD&T properly. Because if you are not able, in most of the industry, they will check whether the candidate is able to do the CAD work with properly or not, whether he has the capacity to make the drawing with the GD&T properly or not. If let me give one example, live example I can give. If you, I have given one interview in one sitting domain company, sitting domain, and they will give me one drawing and they will ask me, you have to create the part and you have to create the drawing as it, and you have to give the GD&T whatever the mention in the drawing. So in that case, what they're expecting from me, my CAD skills, how I am able, can I able to give the GD&T in the CATIA. They want to just check. In that case, they are not going to check whether I am able to give the ABC datum properly or tolerance value or all these things. In that case, they just check whether he can interpret the same drawing whatever we have given or not. So when you are starting your 3D modeling, I will provide this drawing to you. You should be able to make the model of this drawing properly. Apart from that, you should be have the capacity or you should be have the ability to make the drawing in the drafting along with the GD&T. For that, there are various toolbars are available in the drafting, datum, then dimensions, all these things that we will, uh, you
That
know.
we're going to have a special class, special
Hmm.
webinar